is happening? Welcome to my channel. My name is Matt Bradford. Today, we're gonna do let's call it chord partials, okay? There's gonna be some slants, there's gonna be some bar technique, there's gonna be a lot of theory. Basically, I got a question on Patreon. Oh, if you wanna support this channel, join me on Patreon. You're gonna get all the lesson materials from all the lessons, backing tracks, the ones that I use on Instagram. I make all those myself. You'll get new backing tracks each week, and you'll see how I play over them. You can play over them, keep you kind of continually getting new, hopefully new inspiration. Anyway, join me on Patreon. The link is below, etc., etc. Got a great question on Patreon. And basically, without getting too deep into it, somebody was asking about partial chords and the way certain pieces of chords lay out against other chords, etc., etc. And I sent him a little video about how I think about it, but it led me to like, oh, let's do this video on chord partials. So if you want to get to the first exercise, I'm just going to talk a little bit about gear, and then we're going to jump right in. So this is a telly body, and on it I have a neck that I made. I'm selling these. So much selling is happening right now. I'm trying to make a living. You can reach out. You can find me again on Instagram or mattbradfordmusic@gmail.com, blah, blah, blah. We'll figure out a neck for a telly, or we could probably do one for a Strat, but there's a different neck pocket, etc. Right, going into my tungsten mosaic. I don't know if it's in the shot. Yes, it is. Tungsten mosaic is a little 5-watt tweed style champ. And then if I need drive, I'm going to use a Jam Tube Dreamer, which is like a tube screamer, but dreamier. Okay, so let's throw the major scale up here, and let's just look at a major chord, right? Your major, we're in open D tuning. I don't say that a lot, I guess, anymore, but open D tuning, and this is the open D tuning major scale. At the 12th fret, we have 1, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1. I think of all my scales in numbers. If you're wondering where the numbers come from, I've got whole videos on it, but real quick and basic, the scale is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then it starts over. 1. So each chord is built on numbers, and if you look at this, we have 1, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1 against the one chord. But we've covered chord shapes before. Look, the numbers in a 1 chord, 1, 3, 5. The numbers in a 2 chord. Let's go this way first. 2, 4, 6, 3 chord, 4 chord. Here, they're all here. Okay, but you'll notice this, that the numbers in a 3 chord and the numbers in a 1 chord are just one note different. Now, obviously, they're starting in different places, right? The 3 chord is 3, 5, 7. The 1 chord is 1, 3, 5. But they have the 3 and the 5 in common. So when I'm looking at my 1 chord, here's my 3 and my 5 right here. That's the beginning of a minor. That's part of the minor chord. So, I have this track up. It's the one from the beginning, and the first chord is a 1 chord, and the second chord is a 3 chord. And so when you're looking at it and you go, here's a 1, and then 3 chord, right? I can play these 2 notes. They're part of both chords. That's really cool. This is what I mean by chord partials. We're using just parts of the chords. Now, we're going to have a couple shapes that are going to be involved in this. We're going to try to feel our way through how to explain this. But essentially, let's look at a 1 chord. Let's look at one at the 1 and the 3, and the 3 and the 5. Okay? We have it down here also. Right? And the numbers start over again at the 12th fret. So, if you're looking at the chart, 1, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1, the same thing is happening up here. 1, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1. And it's the same exact chord shapes. So if I'm looking at this and I'm going, here's 1 and 3, and here's 3 and 5. Now the 1, in between the 1 and the 3, okay, yeah, in between the 1 and the 3 is the 2, right? 1, 2, 3. In between the 3 and the 5 is a 4. 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5. So if I do a, right, or I start to have this lick, this, which is the beginning of what we're going to talk about, because we're going to talk about some slanting too, because this 1 and 3 is also available here. Okay, and slants are, if you want technique on slants, I'm certainly not the expert on that. I would look up lap steel slants, and I'm sure that you're going to get a million guys on lap steel who are way better at slants than me, and they can give you the technique behind it, because I'm super self-taught. What I do is, the bar is, I pick my hand up, take my thumb, and I just kick the bar in for a forward slant. For a reverse slant, which I'm really bad at, I pick my hand up a little bit, my thumb grabs the back end of the bar and just kicks it out. But we'll see what we can do. But okay, so we have this move, right? And the 1, 3, 5 is also, the 1, 3 is there, 2, 4 to 3 and 5. So I have that move in two places. I can either, right, or why would I do it one in front of the other, one instead of the other? I mean, it just depends on kind of where I'm at and what I'm doing. But knowing that this slant is there and that move works behind the 1 chord, and seeing that pattern, those to there, it also works on the 5 chord, right? Here's a 5, 7, 4, 6, 7, 2. Wait, is that right? I'm sorry. 5, 7, 6, 1, 7, 2. And it's trickier down here. Slants are trickier down here because the frets are further apart. And so slants are always trickier on the lower frets than kind of up here, where you can kind of get away with it a little easier. Okay, so I'm going to use the same diagram, but instead of it being down here, it's up here. And it's the 3 and the 5 and the 7, the 4, 6 and the 1, right? 5 and the 2. That's against a 5 chord. So we're starting to see, like, oh look, this pattern repeats. We've talked about repeating patterns before. The pattern between the 1 chord and then the 5 chord. Okay, well, what about the 3 chord? Well, we know that the 3 and the 5 is here. And if we know that, and then here's my 5 and my 7, part of my 3 chord, right? 3, 5, 7. Let's go back and look at those things. I think it's going on this side. We'll see what happens. So this move from the 1 to the 3 chord. Yeah, that's right. Right? Now, in between those, there's another one. I have my 6 chord. Though the backing track. My God, we're all over the place. So we talked about the 1 and the 3. We've talked about the 5. Don't worry, we're gonna get there. The way the backing track goes is this. So we got our 1 chord. It starts 1, 3. 6. 5. Okay, and it does it 4 times. 1, 3, 6, 5. It's going to allow us to really work around some chord positions, some major and minor, some slants, get some ideas in our heads, etc., etc. So, the 6 chord. 6, 1, 3. Well, what's the difference between the 6 chord and the 1 chord? 1 note, right? The 1 and the 3 are common in both. It's there, and it's there. And so here's my 1 and my 3. Now, that's a weirder move for me. I guess I could do it that way. I don't do a lot of reverse slants, but for the sake of this video, trying to find... No, we're not doing that yet. I'm sorry. I lied to you. So, 1 and 3. Right, 2 and 4. That's still a reverse slant. Okay, let's just do it like this. 1 and 3's here. 2 and 7 is here, and then 6 and 1. Okay, so I'm gonna. Do I love that? See, and this is part of. So I'm gonna leave this all in. This is part of my process. Is like I don't. As I sit here and explain these things to you, it solidifies kind of how I do it. But in the moment, I'm not really necessarily working on any of this stuff. It's just like I have the numbers in my head. I know that this is a 1 and a 3. I know this is a 3 and a 5, and I know what the scale looks like. And I just work my way through it as I'm working. So the takeaway here, and I got another question on Patreon recently too about scale things, but like. This applies to every scale. This applies to every chord change. This can help you define how you're playing, because if you're sitting there and you know what the numbers are of a chord, then we know how to attack that chord. And then as we start putting the chords together, we start to see the scale, and then we start to know what are the transitional notes in between the chords, right? Because so our track has a 1 chord, 1 3 5. And it has a 3 chord, which adds the 7. So now we've got 1 3 5 7. Okay. Then the 6 chord adds the 6. It's the only note that it's added. So 1 3 5 6 7. And then the 5 chord adds the 2. So 1 2 3 5 6 7. We can infer that our 4 is going to be here from the fact that all those other numbers are there, but we've never defined the 4, so we could play it here. It's going to feel weird in the context of that scale. Let me add the tube screamer. Just get a friendlier, easier to play with sound. Yeah. So I can play this 4. Let me just, this is a little, this is going to be, we're going to be all over the place today. I'm trying to find my style. Hopefully you guys dig this. If you dig it, throw it in the comments. If you don't dig it, throw it in the comments. If you, whatever, throw it in the comments because it helps with the algorithm. So check it out. Oh, let's just do the scale, just with the scale real quick. That 4 feels weird. Let's do a regular 4. That feels better. So the first time through I shoot in that sharp 4 because it's not defined. It feels weird. It feels weird. Even though there's no note in here that's defining the 4 chord, the 4 note as being here, unless we have something defining it not fitting into this scale. This is the major scale. We're so used to hearing that 4 sounds natural. Okay, so you can see what I'm talking about, I think, I hope, with these shapes, starting to get around them, right? The notes are going to kind of give us some natural runs. The reverse slants, I'm going to try to stay away from for now, but our 1 chord, we can start with it just doing this. Okay, another move for a 1 chord, no, let's not do that. Okay, and then our 5 chord. How about our 6 chord? Let's do this. And then, okay, it's all up there on the thing. But basically, I'm just trying to outline the chords, but with these chord partials, and we're adding slants because then it makes it more lateral, which helps us use our slide. We could do it this other way, right? Do that, and then we'd have to do it as a reverse slant. What is that? That's a 3 and a 5, right? 3 and a 5. So I could be there, yeah. But 2 4. No, that's 2 4 there. This is 3 5. So this is 6 1. There it is. You know, I could do it that way so that there's no slants, but it's like, wow, I gotta jump all over the place to not have. That's crazy to try to get no slants versus just playing it. Right, and now I'm outlining that chord. You're getting that whole chord experience along with a passing tone. We could take the passing tones out. But you see what I'm saying? Now we're starting to get the chords together. So 3 and 5. Okay, the 6th chord. Now check it out. And ooh, computer's trying to go to sleep. Camera's trying to overheat. We're gonna try to make it through this, and then we're gonna take a little break. 6th chord. 6 and 1. It's there. 1 and 3. So 6 and 1. Oh, let's go down. We're gonna descend. Sorry. So 1. Oh. I know what I'm doing. Right? And then 5, 6, and then 5. And that starts to give us some nice movement. So let's try that. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna let the camera cool down so it doesn't die in the middle of this example. Okay, so let's take these chord changes. Let's just use this as an exercise, and hopefully you see what I'm doing with these chords. So let's do this here. We're doing 1 chord, 3 chord, 6 chord descending, okay, so that's a great first exercise. Now, obviously, I want you to be able to think of it on any chord, right? So on the 2 chord, you have your 4 and your 6, 5 and 7. It's not gonna work there. 4 and 6, 5 and 7. 4 and 6. What we're missing is the 2. So 2. I mean, that's the 2. Oh, so do we do it here? That's where it lays out. That's why. The 2 and the 4 is here. 2, 4, 3, 5, 4, 6, right? That makes more sense. Now I'm behind the chord. You can see that some of the slants, trying to get a 4, a 2 and a 4 here could work with a reverse. But it's not what we're doing. We're here, right? The 3's here. The 4 chord, 4 and 6, 5 and 7, 6 and 1, right? And then the 5 chord, obviously we've done. 6 chord, and then the 7 chord. I mean, 1 and 4. Seven and 2. 7 and 2. 1 and 3. 2 and 4. We could do it up here. We can do it down here. But those are partials on your 2 on your 2nd and 3rd string. Cool. We can get some partials, and so the thing to do before I move on, the thing to do is obviously to work through some chords, and then what I like to do is I like to add in single notes. I don't just sit here with just the chord partials. It's great for certain, like if a singer-songwriter, if I'm playing with a singer-songwriter or something, and I'll have my volume pedal out, and I can just get those little I can get those swelly guys going on, but for the most part, for me, if I'm using it in the context of a track, ooh, missed it already. Let's try it again. Here we go. where I'm getting some of those moves, and then I'll add a little, little flurry, and then drop and grab another partial. And obviously I was trying to stick to the partials. Again, if you've watched any of my videos, trying to keep it restricted is going to allow you to be more creative when everything opens up. I could work with my restrictions a little more myself. So second set of partials. Now we have a 1 and a 3 here. Okay. Cool. We've already been doing that. We've been using it with those really close groupings. We also have a 3 and a 1 here. To me, you're now starting to get some separation. It's gonna be a more interesting sound. Now, what's cool is that any one that's on your 4th string is also on your top string, so you can kind of start to see, again, you can start to see some of these patterns where you have your 1 and your 3, 2 and your 4, 2, 4, 3, 5. So there's your 1 chord. Right? Here's your 3 chord. Here's your 6 chord. Oh no, it's way up here. Right? There's your 6 chord. And then your 5 chord, obviously. So let's use that as a thing, and I'll add this reverse slant for my 5 chord. So I have this one more move, and let's talk about it again. I'm gonna take my thumb and just pull it out, pull the bar out, right? So I'm getting my thumb against the back corner here and pushing until I've got it. This is not my specialty, just as heads up as we hit what I'm sure will be challenging tuning territory. But it's been fun to look at this because it's something that I'm going to work on in the future. But we have this 3 and 5 here, or sorry, 5 and 7 here. That's a 3 and a 7. It's a 3 and a 7. 3 and a 1. Down to a 7 and a 5. That's part of my 3 chord. Right? But so 1 down to 6. Right? There's my 3 chord. Now that's a 6 and a 4. That's not going to work. 6 and 3's here. There's that reverse slant again. That pattern. Let's keep it like this. 1 chord. Right? 3 chord. 6 chord. 5 chord. And then we come back to our 1. Let's do that. Again, it's the same exercise, same principle. And you're starting to see again how I'm not just thinking of one triad, or one third, which is what these are. These are major and minor thirds. I'm not going to get into all of the theory behind it, but essentially the notes in our chord, we can play them in any order against the chord, and adding the passing tones helps. And so starting to get some ideas of where these notes are helps us get more ideas for licks, helps us navigate chord changes more quickly, etc. So check it out. Same thing. Here's our 1 chord. Yeah. Now, the very last one, I added a 4 note. Now we have the whole scale. Without getting into all the theory, the 5 chord in this key, in the key of D, would be an A dominant 7, so it would be a 5, 7, 2, 4. It's always skipping 1 note. We should do a big theory thing at some point, but that'll be its own disaster. So I just added that 4 and made that a dominant 5 chord for a second. Which is a really nice move. I'm going from my my 2 and my 7 to my 4 and my 2 to my 3 and my 1. And that's a nice resolution. Okay, so that's a really basic beginning of chord partials, right? There's a couple of takeaways. Number one is this: your normal chords 1, 3, 5, etc., etc. If you have 2 notes that are next to each other, they do make a chord, right? So if you have this 2 and 4 here, that's in the 2 chord, and that's also in your 7 chord, that 2 and that 4, right? Your 3 and your 5 is in your 1 chord and your 3 chord. So whenever you have 2 chords like that, here your 1 and your 3 is in your 3 chord and your 6 chord. So nice simple takeaways there. Your 4, 6 is in your 2 and your 2 and your 4. Your 6, 1 is in your 4 and your 6 chord. If you're not getting what I'm saying, I want you to look at this and then just try to grab 2 notes from one of these chords in places that are not like right where the chord is, and you'll start to see it. But the real takeaway is, again, that this works against any chord as long as we know what we're playing. This works in any scale as long as we know what we're playing. As you start adding chord extensions, making them 7 chords, 9 chords, 11 chords, 13 chords, like we start being able to grab partials and triads that aren't necessarily the root of the chord, and it allows us to navigate the neck in different ways. The big thing here, if you start working through a lot of the lessons I've put up, and we have ones on the major scale and ones on the minor scale, and we're talking about chord shapes versus scale stuff. We've got major pentatonic and minor pentatonic and major and minor, and all of it is the same thought process. And I hope that that's the thing that continues to come through, which is like, what are the numbers? What is the chord I'm playing? And then how do I travel between the numbers of the chord I'm playing? If I'm playing a 1 chord and I'm playing the 1 and the 3, how do I travel coherently to the 3 and the 5? If I'm playing a 5 chord, how do I travel coherently between the 5 and the 7 and the 7 and the 2? And I can do it with single notes, and I can do it with slants, and I can do it with different areas on the neck. But understanding how to slant is going to allow you to lay it out in a way where you can use it with 1 stroke. You can do it nice and legato. You can do a lot of those old country things, all that stuff. That's the takeaway. As we continue to learn how to navigate the fingerboard, the techniques continue to unlock for us. So the main thing here with the slants too is going to just be in tune, right? So playing a chord and making sure it's not trying to get that in tune, right? And it's tricky. So be patient with yourself. Be patient with yourself with all this stuff. The more that you start to learn the new technique, it might reaffirm some of the old techniques. Go back through the backing tracks, pull them up. Remember, I don't do tabs. And let me just end with this, because there's 2 reasons I don't do tabs. Number 1, I wouldn't even know where to start. I don't use tablature. And I can read it, but the note is the least important part of what we're doing. The way that I play the note, hard, soft, long, short, is it legato, is it staccato? That's the stuff that's going to make it. You know, if I play, that's what 7 1 7 5 4. Okay. 1 7 5 4 2 3 1. What a nightmare of a lick. But now we have something happening. That's different. It's happening. Different again. The notes are the least important part. How am I going to play them? What's the timing? What's the... Okay, again, different, adding spaces, right? It's the same lick. So, the same thing here. I want you to start thinking of chord partials as the part of the chord. If I'm playing these two notes, it's a 1 and a 6. That doesn't mean it's a 6 chord. Just because it's in this area doesn't make it a 6 chord. It's the notes 1 and 6. That works against a 6 chord, and it works against a 4 chord. It also works against a 1 add 6 chord if you were playing something like that, or a 1 sus 6 maybe. I don't know. Some of that stuff is. But if I see a chord that has a 1 and a 6 in it, then I can play those notes, even if it's not a 1 chord or a 6 chord. And that's the point as we start to do this, as we start to know the scale, as we start to know all that stuff. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this made sense. Please leave any comments below. Please join me on Patreon. Please send me messages wherever you feel like, and let me know what's helpful and what's not. And man, thanks for hanging. I hope if you made it to the end, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you.